Greetings everyone, I am Dr. Wolf, and within China they started an advertising campaign about preventing the spread of the coronavirus. And they're using pony life characters for the ads. I have to admit that is rather surprising. A little bizarre even, perhaps even surreal. To think that the My Little Pony characters are trying to educate people about covering your mouth or washing your hands or any number of other things. And when I first saw this, I was thinking, well, I hope that it actually helps to do some good. I mean, there have been over 75,000 confirmed cases of the coronavirus thus far, and unfortunately, more than 2,000 deaths. And it is a bit sad to think that even in this day and age, there are epidemics that can spread very quickly and can even be deadly. But I am sincerely grateful that there is near instantaneous worldwide communication that helps to make people aware. This is happening. This is how you can help prevent it. And even helping doctors all over the world to help find a cure far more quickly than we ever could before. And even though it is a little bizarre using My Little Pony characters to teach people about awareness and preventing the spread, I can only imagine that even just 100 years ago, this sort of disease would have been far, far more difficult to prevent worldwide spread. And we actually do have a real-life example of just that. Because it was only 100 years ago that the Spanish flu had devastated the world population. I mean, anywhere from 50 to 100 million people died from the flu back in those days, including even my great-grandfather, before my grandmother had even been born. And yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons why I know a fair bit about the Spanish flu, because it very nearly wiped out my family back then. And what I find interesting about what happened back then and compare it today, there are more than a few correlations, because way back towards the final days of World War I, when the Spanish flu was really kicking into high gear and spreading all over the earth, there were many governments in the world who did not want newspapers to report on it. Countries like the USA, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Austria, and many others were so focused on winning the war that they did not want anyone to publish any kind of information that would take their people's focus off winning the war. And the reason why it is known as the Spanish flu is because Spain back then was a neutral country. And many newspapers within Spain were reporting on this widespread disease. So, because it had been popularized in Spain, many people thought, oh, it must have originated in Spain. And that is far from the truth. Compare that to today. The reason why the coronavirus had spread as far as it did was because a number of people who wanted to tell the world about it and make people aware to prevent the spread of this disease from going any further, they weren't allowed to. There were a number of government officials within China who did not want people to panic over this disease, that they thought it was a small thing that could be very well contained. And it was pretty much only when the entirety of the world started noticing that this was spreading that a concerted effort was made to keep it from getting any further. And again, I am sincerely grateful that we live in a day and age of not only modern medicine, but again, near instantaneous worldwide communication, where people are not only made aware that this is happening, but are also given the tools to help keep it from spreading any further. because I still think that if this had happened 100 years ago, it very well could have been as widespread as the Spanish flu. Maybe not as deadly, but certainly as widespread. And seeing My Little Pony characters helping the public be more aware and educating them on how to keep the disease from spreading, it is bizarre. It is surreal. But you know what? I am kind of thankful for it. I do have to question whether anyone in China actually got permission from Hasbro to use said characters for this advertising campaign, but I suppose I am grateful. It's a bit of an odd footnote for these characters to be teaching people about a disease, but I sincerely hope it will do a bit of good. I know stories from my own family from more than 100 years ago that had tremendous loss due to a worldwide epidemic. And while the coronavirus doesn't seem to be anywhere near as lethal, it certainly seems to be nearly as contagious. I hope people take note of what's happening in the world right now. I've been listening to a lot of what's been going on through many different YouTube videos, and it is quite fascinating to see an epidemic like this get so much coverage so that the rest of the world is made aware of its happening, and many doctors throughout the world are able to work together in finding a cure as quickly as possible. But honestly, what do each of you think? Seeing pony life characters being used before the show has even come out, mind you, to help educate the public about proper procedures to keep from spreading the disease. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, because as always, I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.